Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Thursday, June the 30th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Josh Crash Davis. Crash, we have an interesting slate today. Great weather again, but it is sort of a 7-game slate. We'll see. Depends on which site you're playing. It could be a 5-game slate, but some good games. We don't have to stress any Coors Field at least today.
Yeah. I think that we got a nice little slate here. More players we can really hone in on without having to worry about, trying to find 20 different players and all that at different positions, and just to try to be different, so we can find those one or two key guys. Hopefully they're going to hit a home run at low ownership, and that should hopefully give us a difference to separate us. So
absolutely. And great day for us last night. Really had the full sweep. We won in Draftkings Fanduel and Yahoo. And, really what it came down to finally after the 3 days of trying to figure out what the hell to do with the Dodgers and Coors, we were able to hit on, Will Smith and Cody Bellinger really got us over the top. So big shout out. Playing the right, Dodgers ended up being really a key. And then Ohtani was a monster.
He was.
He's tough, man.
He's so good.
He really is. He's going to win like unanimous MVP. How can you not?
Yeah.
With what he's doing between pitching and hitting.
Yeah, I thought he was going to regress a little bit because, he had that 13 strikeout game the game before, and he was facing the White Sox, who had one of the lowest strikeout rates all season.
Yeah.
No, he just kept rolling. I mean, he had 11 strikeouts, and I don't remember how many swings and misses he had, but it was a lot. So
yeah, he's tough. He really is. I've got a weird background again today. No Dirk again. This is Dirk's vacation time yesterday.
Yeah.
So maybe one more day tomorrow, and then we'll be back to our normal background.
He's getting the squad ready for free agency, so he gets the week off.
He's actually off the wall because of the painting and everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
So he's truthfully, just hanging out, resting up. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's hit this. We're gonna go over everything like we normally do. We'll hit the games briefly and talk about implied totals, weather. Make sure we got everything together there. Although the weather's great. And then we'll go through our normal stuff for those that watch every day. We appreciate you. We'll do our pitcher pay-ups, values, fades, BVP, HR, and stacks, and we'll finish up with some prize picks. Tomorrow, you and I will do a Two Brains lineup. So we'll get that going tomorrow. So that will be fun. Other than that, if you want to join us at Coach Talk, go to dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up right there. We have our 4th of July special, and that time to sign up for that is dwindling. You can sign up between now and July 4th, which is Monday, and you get our entire everything we have here at Coach Talk all the way up until September 2nd for only $74. So $74. All of our MLB, all of our information coming up, and playing of the NBA Summer League, which, by the way, Crash, we have a little under 9 hours until NBA free agency. Super excited about that. I'll be zoned in with that later this afternoon. That'll be cool. And then all of our PGA and now Live Golf. We put our first lineups up for that last night. And everything else that we have going, NASCAR, MMA, we are a one-stop shop. So we would love to have you, dfscoachtalk.com. If you want to check us out on Twitter, go to at DFS Coach Talk. Crash is at JP Davis 1982, and you can find me at Joe Sarvati. All right, enough of that. We need to get to these ball games. We're not going to talk about the Rogue 110 Twins Guardians game, but we are going to start again. You've got a 7-game slate on DraftKings, a 5-gamer on FanDuel and Yahoo. So the two games at the odd times, the first one is 6:05. It's the Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia Phillies. You have an 8.5 total. Beautiful weather here. 6 mile an hour slight breeze out to right. 88 warm degrees in Philly. 3.85 implied for the Braves. 4.65 for the Phils. Ian Anderson and his 7.2 salary on DraftKings, and Aaron Nola and his 10K on for the Philadelphia Phillies. So we still do not have Mr. Harper back with his thumb, but you start to feel good about the Phillies today? Yeah.
Sorry, I was taking a sip of coffee there.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Anderson, he hasn't really been what he was last year. That's for sure.
Right.
He's been struggling. So I think it's a good matchup for him. Of course, they don't have Bryce Harper for the next, month or so. So that really hurts Philly. But
I also know you were excited to start Derek Hall. Who the heck is Derek Hall, by the way? He just popped in yesterday, and he's batting cleanup.
I know. I was like, I looked at their lineup. I was like, what? Hall? Who is that?
I was thinking it was Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates. Remember that old band?
Yeah, actually, I do remember that band. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be about 90 degrees, so the ball should be flying out pretty good.
Yeah.
And so it's favorable weather. Like I said, Ian Anderson hasn't been that great, so I do think the Phillies will probably be pretty decent today.
And I'll tell you, old Derek Hall, he's not like a youngster high, young guy in the franchise are expecting to be a big part of the future, but he's already like 26 or 27 years old. But I can tell you this, he's got 20 home runs in AAA this year. Wow. So he led the minors in homers. So, hey, why not? Maybe he's a guy to plug in there. He bats lefty and he's got pop. So,
yeah. So real quick, I just saw this. So against Ian Anderson, righties are actually hitting better against him. 291.
Wow.
203 lefties. So that could give us an advantage for sure because most people automatically just play lefties against the righty.
Reverse splits
guy. So keep an eye on Hoskins and Real Muto and guys like that.
All right. Just don't eliminate Hall & Oates from your consideration today. He's
all a lefty or righty?
He's a man eater. He's a lefty.
Okay.
So I'll tell you, he's going to get I guarantee you he gets a bunch of ownership because he's a lefty, even though it's Anderson's reverse splits and he's batting cleanup for Philly in that hot temperature. You watch how much people use him as their value guy.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go to game 2, which is another fantastic game for the two earlier games. So I'm glad they at least are on one of the main slates. It's the New York Yankees and Houston Astros. What a great series this is going to be throughout the weekend. It is in the Dome in Houston where you can hit the ball out with just a little flick of the wrist there to right, which really gives some advantage to these boppers. So you've got only a 7.5 total, though. That perplexes me, I guess, because Vegas respects both of these starting pitchers, but that seems low to me. 3.87 implied for the Yankees, 3.63 for the Astros. Luis Severino, 9.1K on DraftKings, and Luis Garcia, Battle of the Luises. He's 8.8K. But, man, I just think this game's ripe for some hitting, especially on the Yankee side, personally.
Yeah, I'm looking at their history. It doesn't look like they've faced Garcia much at all. So we don't have a lot of BVP to look at there. But I'm with you on the right-handed, batters hitting that right side of the field.
Yeah.
That short porch there. That's definitely favorable for them.
Stanton's amazing with that. Like, he'll barely get a piece of the ball. It's on the out. They're pitching him outside, and he just sticks the bat out there. Yeah. And it just doinks right over the fence. And I'll tell you, Houston, that porch is short all over the field there. It's a home run park. So we'll see. But Vegas, they're no dummies. I'm sure they believe that this is going to stay lower scoring. So we'll see how that rolls.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
All right, the 5 games that are on all 3 slates, the Milwaukee Brewers and Pittsburgh Pirates. Your Brewers hopefully can beat up on the Pirates this weekend for you. It is an 8.5 total. Hot day in Pittsburgh, very unusual, 88 today. Slight breeze blowing in from right at 5 miles an hour. And it's, again, that 8.5 total, 4.46 implied for the Brewers, 4.04 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We have Mr. George Costanza, Jason Alexander on the mound for Milwaukee, 7.7K, and JT Brubaker, 7.5K. 2 guys that do not interest me a whole heck of a lot. I don't know about you.
You know, I'm not sure that Alexander's going to start. I know I saw that, but my Brewers app, which is usually pretty, right on, has Adrian Hauser. Alexander came out of the bullpen just a couple days ago in that first game against the Rays, and he really struggled. So I have a hard time believing that they're going to start him 2 days later, especially with as bad as he struggled.
All right, well, let's keep a close eye on that because that's going to affect the slate for me. I'm looking at the latest on both spots that I look, and it still has Alexander in there, but we will keep an eye on it for sure. I'm going to look at 1/3 place because that makes a huge difference because I don't think Alexander has much of anything. I am not a fan. Let's see, one more spot and see what we got here because that could be a stackable spot for me one way or the other. And I think that's going to make a difference. Let's see what my 3rd and most reliable spot says. And it says, where is it? Oh, that was the results from last night. Oh, Hauser, 4-8 versus Brubaker. So you're probably right. So that's going to be something. Does that change the tune for you with Hauser?
A little bit. He's had some decent starts, in his last couple starts against the Pirates. So I think that he's definitely in play for me on DraftKings. His price is ridiculous. It's $5,400. So
wow.
Yeah.
Against that AA Pirates lineup too. That's right.
And he just doesn't give up a lot of home runs normally. So I mean, he struggled a little bit in his last start, but that was against Toronto. I mean, they're tough run most teams. So
yeah. How about Brian Reynolds yesterday? Good Lord. Crazy. Yeah, we cashed everywhere and we didn't have Reynolds. If we'd had Reynolds, it would have been siesta today. My God.
I remember poor Deb. She was in a head-to-head where she was crushing the guy, but he had Reynolds at 3 home runs. So
yeah, but Reynolds had a total of 66.6. It's triple sixes, the sign of the devil. So look out, man. Bad day for Reynolds coming up.
That's favorable for us, for the Brewers, for sure.
You don't normally see scores close to 70 in baseball. My God. Yeah. How unlucky is it to have a head-to-head, though? Have to deal with that.
Yeah, it's not like he was some chalk, batter.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. All right, so good. Thank you for that. We're going to stick with Hauser for now, and then we'll see where that goes. We'll keep everybody posted as the day goes on. Then at 7:07, Tampa Bay Rays versus the Toronto Blue Jays. Geez, I don't have an updated line on this one. Let me see what it says here. My line is not updated there. It is Drew Rasmussen versus Yusei Kikuchi, the lefty. Yeah. So we'll double check the lines on that one and update those two as we go. Any feel on that game at all?
I think that Tampa could be in a decent spot. Kikuchi's given up the most home runs of any starting pitcher. So that's a favorable matchup for them. Take out some frustration after getting swept by the Brewers. So
yeah, and it looks like Isaac Paredes, the guy that's been just killing it, they're moving him up to 3rd in the
Yeah,
order.
he batted third yesterday against Eric Lauer. So
yeah, he's now the man there all of a sudden. But craziness how those guys come out of nowhere. But yeah, so we'll see. That should be an interesting game. Toronto's lineup is definitely scary. There's no doubt about it. This is a big weekend in I know we have our big 4th of July on Monday here in the States, but Canada Day is tomorrow, July 1st, is when they celebrate. So they have big things going on, so they're expecting a sellout for these Tampa games. So just something to keep to note, because Toronto, that place gets buzzing, could be fired up, get the adrenaline going. So I'm going to have a lot of Blue Jays today and this weekend.
Yeah.
All right, 8:05, Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Cubs. The youngster Graham Ashcraft at 8K against Kyle Hendricks, 5.1K for Hendricks. You can get like a second baseman, the average hitter, for basically the price of Kyle Hendricks. But it is 87 in Chicago, 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to dead left. So my question to you, is this going to be a Cubs game? They're going to be the quote-unquote Coors game today, because it is a 9.5 implied total, 4.60 for the Reds, 4.90 for the Cubs.
I like the Reds in this matchup, actually. I like the way that they've hit Kyle Hendricks. So it's kind of been a back-and-forth series, so I can see it going back to the Reds today.
Interesting. And I'll tell you what, Ashcraft, I think, has some good ability. I know he was highly regarded in their minor league system. So
he was good against San Francisco in his last start. So
he was. Yeah, he's definitely an interesting guy today. All right, then we have 2 late games sitting by themselves. They're both at 10-10. One is San Diego at the Dodgers. And by the way, this is the 19th game in 19 days for the Dodgers. They play again tomorrow and Sunday, so 20 straight games in 20 days. That's pretty amazing in baseball how they do that. Then they're off on Monday, but
yeah,
it's Padres Dodgers 7.5. Oh, you know what? I want to mention something before I forget. Tampa Bay has a bunch of pitching injuries. Okay. Secondly, 2 of their best bullpen innings eaters aren't vaccinated and can't make the trip to Toronto. So that adds to my, Blue Jays bandwagon for the next 3 days, with Tampa being short arms. So just something I didn't want to forget.
That's a good point. And some sites have Jeffrey Springs as a starter, so I don't know who's actually going to start for that one either.
They're in just a pitching dilemma there, that's for sure. So we will follow that very closely. All right, again, Padres Dodgers 7.5 is the total, so it's low in LA. Nice 74, comfortable, no wind, just real calm game. 3.56 implied for the Padres, 3.94 for the Dodgers. Joey Musgrove, 9.7K, and Mitch White, 6.4K. What's your initial take there?
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I like the Dodgers a little bit more. The Padres, just without Machado and Tatis, they're just not the same team.
No.
So, yeah, even though they have a favorable matchup against White, I think that I would lean towards the Dodgers.
It's funny how baseball goes. You look at San Diego, their key hitters, just like, with those guys out, especially, you've got Jurickson Profar, who couldn't even start for the Rangers. You've got Jorge Alfaro, who was a backup catcher for the Marlins. Eric Hosmer at the end of his career, Voit, the odd man out in New York. Nomar Mazara was out of baseball for a while. He couldn't make a team. So, I mean, you look at this Padres lineup, it is pretty bad. So something that, just until those guys get back, they're going to struggle, in my opinion. So interesting how baseball goes, though. But Oakland A's, Seattle Mariners last game, also 10-10, also 7.5 for a total. A scant 2.95 for the poor A's. They always get these below 3 implied totals, and 4.55 for Seattle. So no respect at all for the A's pitcher, Adrian Martinez at 5.9K. And flip the 5 and 9, you've got 9.5K Logan Gilbert, who's going to be a bit chalky today, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I don't know if I'm going to go to Gilbert, but I think he's in a decent spot. So I can see why he would have some ownership today.
Definitely. All right, sir. Let's tackle this as we normally do. And I know it's a little tricky because you've got those 2 extra games for DraftKings that you don't have on Fanduel and Yahoo, but we'll just go with what it is. We're looking at, all 7 games that begin at 6:05 on. So who is your pay-up pitcher for today's slate?
My pay-up pitcher is going to be Aaron Nola. He's 10-8 on FanDuel. That's on the early slate, and then 10,000 on DraftKings on the main slate. Going up against Atlanta, they've been dealing with injuries to Acuna and Ozzie Albies. In his last start against Atlanta, he pitched 8 in the 3rd inning, struck out 10, and only allowed 1 run for 62 fantasy points on FanDuel and 37 on DraftKings. And Atlanta has the 3rd highest strikeout rate, so I think it's a favorable matchup for him. And he was my favorite option when you look at matchup and price and everything considered. So it's going to be Aaron Nola for me for pay up.
Yeah, I have a tie, and I'm gonna I don't normally would choose, but because it's the 2 different slates, I'll share both, and I don't have to go in depth with one because on the early, that 7 gamer on DraftKings, I also like Nola. I mean, it's not the same hitting team. A lot of strikeouts in that lineup. Nola's been hot. It's at home. Just great spot for him. All the things that you said there. The other guy, though, that I am going to go to is Gilbert. And I know he's going to get decent amount of ownership. But in Seattle against that, whatever you want to call it, I can't even call it a double or triple A lineup for Oakland. It's more of a cast-offs lineup.
Yeah.
But I'm going Logan Gilbert. He's 8-3 with a 2.44 ERA. He's just been so tough, man. I mean, his performance recently has been consistent as all get out. Listen to these numbers, and I don't want to bore you, but here's his starts for from all the way back until April 20th. Okay, I mean, it's insane. 35, 34, 46, 28, 40, 46, 28, 43, 30, 28, 35, 44, 42. Now, if that doesn't give you some comfort, you know what I mean? And guess what? In all of those games, like a million games that I mentioned, he's never gone less than 5 innings. Not once.
Nice.
And strikeouts, he's not going to give you 12 like maybe a Nola could get a 10, 12, but 6s, 7s, 9s all over the board. Against this Oakland team, I don't care if he's chalk or not. It felt so good last night to have Ohtani, in the holster waiting. We were right on the spot of cashing, getting right close to those areas, but you knew you had Ohtani. I feel the same way about Gilbert tonight. I think just a great spot. He's been ultra consistent. And, even a letdown game for Oakland. I mean, they just had to travel back last night from playing the Yankees. And they were, scrappy against the Yankees, but, even though they're home, they still had to travel cross country to get there. Little lag. I think this could be a smash spot for the Seattle pitcher here.
Yeah.
All right. Value, sir. What are you thinking?
It's going to be Adrian Hauser. I'm going to assume he's going to start. Like I said, he's only 5,400 on DraftKings because they have him, as a relief pitcher.
Right.
Which is crazy because he never does that. He either starts or he's in the bench. So, so he, like I said, he struggled in his last start against Toronto, but he has scored 32, 27, and 42 fantasy points in his last 3 starts against Pittsburgh. And like I said, he doesn't normally give up a lot of home runs. So if he's going to be the starter at 5,400 on DraftKings, I mean, I can pair him up with anybody. And Hauser's going to be my value play.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be 10 million% owned if he is the starter because of the misprice.
Right.
I mean, how can you not play him against a Pirates team at that price? I mean,
yeah, they don't score and they strike out a lot. So.
I mean, it's a free square. So it's going to end up being, if he is the starter, most people are going to have him and Nola, or maybe him and Ashcraft, or the guy I'm going to say right now, if they want to go cheap, or him and Logan
Gilbert.
Gilbert. Yeah. So, that leads me to my value pitcher, and that is Ashcraft. I mean, that performance at San Fran was just crisp, man.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of that, 8 innings, 8 strikeouts, and that's against a crafty San Francisco team.
Right.
Now, he did have 2 stumbles. He didn't pitch great against Milwaukee or St. Louis, but those are 2 teams that can hit. But before that, he ran off a real nice run against Arizona, Washington, San Francisco, Toronto. So he's been good, and he's a youngster, and he's got a strikeout pitch.
Yeah.
And it's starting to show that 8 Ks being his most strikeouts, but he is a highly regarded guy. He's one of the rotational guys that they want to build around. 4-1 as a rookie with a whip at 1, ERA just above 3. I just think it's a great spot for him against a team. I think he can dominate in spots, and his price is right. He's 8,000 on Draftkings, 9,000 on Fanduel, and a giveaway 33 on Yahoo. So, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. For me, it'll be, I'd say 100% of my pitching today is going to be between Nola, Gilbert, Ashcraft, and your man with the Brewers.
Yeah. Hauser.
Yeah. I always want to mix up Hauser and Lauer for some reason. But yeah, so those, I would assume those are going to be my plays, depending on how it shakes out.
How do you feel about the weather in Chicago? It looks like the wind's going to be blowing out again.
Well, that's the concern. I mean, that is a concern. Chicago they don't have a ton of pop, but they do have some guys, that can hit it. And it seems like there was a wind blowing out to dead center, 20 miles an hour for a couple of games in a row, and it didn't blow up the games.
Yeah.
So this one is to more, to left center, 15, 18 miles an hour, somewhere in there. But yeah, it's not comforting. But, if Ashcraft is going to be dominant and get some Ks and some ground balls, then he'll be okay. So,
yeah. And the Cubs had a nice night last night, so they could definitely be in for some regression today.
We'll see. I mean, it's going to be a case of getting different in some spots. And, if you're not overplaying that Cubs game, there are a lot of spots to get different today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For sure. All right. How about your fade?
It's going to be Joe Musgrove. He's 11-1 on FanDuel, 9,700 on DraftKings. He's going up against the Dodgers in LA. It's just a tough matchup. He's very expensive. His last 3 starts against them were all last year. He hasn't faced them this year, but he had 34, 18, and 34 fantasy points. That's using FanDuel scoring. So that's nowhere near what we're going to need from him at that price. So it's like 18, 8, and 8, or 18, 8, and 18, I think, on DraftKings scoring. So, yeah, those point totals are not anything like what we would want. So, yeah, Musgrove's going to be my fade.
I'm with you. I just updated on my other 2 sites here. So you are correct. Adrian Hauser is the starting pitcher for Milwaukee.
Okay.
And you're also correct that they moved it from Rasmussen to Jeffrey Springs for Tampa.
Okay.
So that's a little disappointing for me because I like Jeffrey Springs.
Yeah, he's a pretty decent pitcher. I was glad we didn't have to face him.
Yeah, and I had Toronto as one of my stack teams, and that is going to change now. So that's not a lot of fun, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so, DraftKings has updated it now, and they got Hauser starting at 5,400. So
well, I don't know how you don't play him. Yeah. It's one of those mispriced free squares. Just face it. It is what it is. So anyway, we'll see. For me, Musgrove scares me at times, but he's my fade too. I hate to fade him because I like him. He's 8-1 with a 2.12 ERA.
Right.
So, he's not like an auto fade for me, but at his price against the Dodgers in LA, I'd rather go elsewhere.
11-1 on FanDuel, 11-1. That's outrageous.
He's extremely expensive. Let's face it, it's Dodgers, you can hit the ball out there. The weather's nice. Yeah. I wouldn't mind having a contrarian lineup with Musgrove because I think everybody's going to be thinking like we are, and they're probably going to reluctantly fade him. But, he's the kind of guy he's a gamer.
Yeah.
He can definitely get it done there. But, it comes down to, with the free square now, with Hauser, where do you go? Are you going to go Gilbert? Are you going to go Nola certainly can go Nola on DraftKings, but then after that, probably Gilbert and maybe Musgrove are the next two best, just plain pitchers as far as talent out there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more challenging on FanDuel because Hauser's 8,400 on FanDuel. So I wouldn't go to him on FanDuel. No. But on DraftKings, that's just ridiculous. So
and especially when you look at the fact that some of these guys are not that expensive in other spots. So a lot of, like I say, there's options today for sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, sir. Before we jump to BVP, HR, and stacks, real quickly, I want to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor for this podcast, and that's BetUS.com.pa. Fantastic site. Awesome for all of the wagers, plays. You can do everything on BetUS that you'd ever want. Very, very solid company. Been around for 25 years. Go to betus.com.pa. Use the promo code Coach Talk. Deposit just $79. You deposit $79. You get 2 free months of DFS Coach Talk. That's $150 value. 2 free months. You're with us all the way through July and August, and you're going to get that $79 to play on BetUS. So if you sign up, just very quickly, once you sign up using that promo code Coach Talk with a deposit of at least $79, jump on Twitter, shoot us a quick note at DFS Coach Talk. Let us know you just signed up for the BetUS package, and we will instantaneously get you into our Discord, and you'll be in there for free for the next 2 months. So give that a shot. Again, big shout out to BetUS. We use them for all of our odds and everything that we're using all the time here, and they're great payouts all across the board. All right, sir, what is your BVP play?
My BVP play is going to be Joey Votto, 2,600 on FanDuel, 3,600 on DraftKings. He's 395 against Kyle Hendricks with 15 hits and 38 at-bats, 6 singles, 3 doubles, a triple, and 5 home runs. And the time he faced him was on May 25th. He had a triple and a home run. So I love Votto today against Hendricks.
Well, Joey Votto was my BVP play last time he faced Hendricks, and he hit a home run and triple for me. So, hard to go away from that, man. And with that wind blowing out, I'm with you. I'd be stupid not to go back to Votto here. So I am also BVP Joey Votto, 1477 OPS, 921 slugging, 556 OBP. And like you said, that 395 average. It's just insane. And you did say he walked 15 times against him, didn't you?
I don't know if I did, but he did. Yeah.
Isn't that insane? So he's 15 for 38 with 15 walks against Hendricks. So
had 8 empty plate appearances.
That might be the strongest BVP numbers. 38, I get it. It's small, but it's not bad. 38 plate appearances. That's just dominance. So he really comes, looks to him and says, I don't want to pitch to him half the time. And, Votto, he's going to take the pitches. So,
yeah,
the fact he seems like a hell of a safe play today, that's for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, HR pick, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another, Cincinnati player. I'm going to go with Tommy Pham. 6 hits and 19 at bats. He's 316 against Hendricks with 2 home runs. As I mentioned, the wind's going to be blown out to the left. And I was looking at his spray chart earlier, and 6 of his 10 home runs this year have been on the left side. So
yeah,
I think that's going to be a favorable matchup for him, and the wind's going to be in his favor. So I like Tommy Pham tonight to hit home run.
Very nice. I'm gonna give you 2 because my favorite one is in that early 105 game, 110 game. And I know we're not playing it in DFS, but if you're playing it in PrizePicks, you may want to throw this guy in there. I love Jose Ramirez to go deep today.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot in Cleveland. He's been smoking the ball. His numbers haven't been great for DFS, but he's hitting the ball. He wrote a shot yesterday that would have gone down and rattled in the corner, and a diving stab at first base, and they double off Rosario, or it would have been 2 ribbies and like a triple for Ramirez. But I mean, he's just been pounding the ball. It's against Chris Archer, who he's hit a home run off of already.
Mm-hmm.
And just a guy, if you're going to use him in PrizePicks or in your early plays, I think he's awesome. The home run call for me is going to be Max Muncy. He's been in a hellacious slump, but he's 7 for 15 against Joe Musgrove. Since Musgrove's my fade pitcher, one of the guys I'd like to attack him with is Muncy, batting .467 against him, 579 OBP, 867 slugging, and almost as high as Votto with a 1446 OPS. And he's walked against him. He's homered off of him. And I know it's hard to take your HR call for a guy that's in a slump, but Muncy, one swing of the bat can get that HR. So I'm going for it.
Okay.
All right, sir. Our important stacks. Before we give stacks and PrizePicks, if you're watching on YouTube right now, this is the time. Take 5 seconds. Listen to me for 5 seconds by clicking the thumbs up. There's 2 seconds of it. Hit the subscribe button, and then click the alert in the upper corner if you haven't already. That way you're alerted every single time one of our podcasts posts and premieres, and either one of us is usually in there during premiere. So we're answering questions. We're interacting with our members and people that listen that aren't members, because we enjoy chatting with everybody. Great people in there. Boy from Cali's always in there. And who else? David recently has been in there. Tony, a lot of people. So really appreciate you with guys and gals with the thumbs up, because that helps us move up the algorithm for YouTube. If you're listening through podcast landing sites, today is the last day for the month of June to try to win the 1-month free membership at Coach Talk. All you have to do is give us a top rating, whether it's 5 stars, whatever the top rating is at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever the landing spot is that you listen to us each day. And if you give us a top rating there and just a couple of word comment, then we will hit that randomizer at the end of the day today. Colin will pick out the 1-month free membership. So that would be great. Again, follow us throughout the day. We'll update if there's any other pitching changes, anything else that's going on Twitter. You can catch us there. Definitely follow us, retweet our stuff. We really do appreciate that. And we'll give some shout outs for those. We're at DFS Coach Talk. All right, sir. What do you have here for your stacks?
Well, I've already given 2 of their players, so I got to say the Reds here against Kyle Hendricks. I like them. They have I think 6 guys that have hit 300 or better against him.
Right.
So they have a strong favor in their matchup there. And I did, as you said, have the Blue Jays against Rasmussen. I had the same thing. Yeah. But without Rasmussen in there, I don't like it as much against Jeffrey Springs. He's a pretty good pitcher. So I like the Mariners a little bit against Adrian Martinez.
Yeah.
He had a good start in his debut against Detroit, but that was Detroit. I think Seattle can give him some trouble, and they've got a budding superstar with Julio Rodriguez. I mean, he's one of my favorite young players in the league. He's just awesome. So I like the Mariners a little bit. And then, as I mentioned, I like the Rays against Kikuchi. He's allowed the most home runs of any starting pitcher. So he's allowed 13 home runs this year. So I like the Rays against Kikuchi.
I like it. For me, there's a couple of them. I believe it or not, I sort of like your Brewers tonight as a stack.
Yeah.
It's hot in Pittsburgh. Brubaker's known to give up some gophers. I know he can throw a decent game at times.
Mm-hmm.
He's faded and stacked against him, and he pitched okay the one game, but overall he's 1-7 with a 4.14. And there's definitely some pop. There's lefties early on in that lineup with Yelich, Tellez, Wong, Narvaez, Peterson, all guys from the left side, I think, have the potential of knocking it out. Yeah, Pittsburgh is a pitching park, but with the heat like this, I think that, I think Milwaukee has a good chance as a sneaky stack. I don't think you're going to be the most popular stack.
Right.
And then I love the Yankees. I mean, they're my favorite stack on the slate. You can only play it on DraftKings, but if you're playing the main slates. But, I want to get to some of these guys. I'm not a big believer in Garcia, and I just think it's so easy to hit homers in Houston. And even though I didn't fade Severino and I really respect him, I think the Houston bats are in play too. I like the over in that game. It's only 7.5, but the big thing is Yordan Alvarez going to play? That's the question. I mean, he had that big collision with Jeremy Pena. They were both treated for concussions, and I have not seen further news. The preliminary lineup, Pena and Alvarez are both in there, but that's going to be key to whether I stack any Houston either, because if he's out of that lineup, he's the best lefty, one of the best lefty mashers in the game. And, that's the kind of guy that could get to a Severino. So, again, we'll see what that Houston lineup looks like. Definitely the Yankees, and my GPP stack is Milwaukee. And I'm with you on Cincinnati. I mean, it's hard to trust Cincinnati because they can really suck at times. But Hendricks, man, and wind blowing out, it's hard to pass that up.
Yeah, I agree. And if he's in the lineup, keep an eye on Keston here. For whatever reason, he just has really good numbers against the Pirates. So he could be a low-owned home run for you tonight.
Nice. All right, sir. Let's give a pitcher and a hitter for PrizePicks, and we'll give you 4 total selections there. We'll have at least double that in our Discord for all of our members here later today as well. So what do you got?
I'll go with Adrian Hauser over 25.5 fantasy score. As I mentioned, he scored 32, 27, and 42 fantasy points in his last 3 starts against Pittsburgh. And I think it's just a good bounce back spot for him after his start against Toronto.
Very nice. I'm going to give the bonus play because it's that rogue 1:10 game. Jose Ramirez over 8.5 fantasy score. Love him today. I think he smashes. After that, I'm going with Stanton. 7.5 is all his fantasy score is. I think he reaches out and pops at least one over that right field fence. I can see it. I'm talking it into reality here. I'm viewing it as it's happening. So I'm going with Giancarlo Mike Stanton, 7.5 over in that fantasy score game against Houston.
Okay. I'll go with Mr. BVP, Joey Votto, over 7 fantasy score. That's a pretty low number with what he's done against Hendricks. So I'll take the over on 7.
And I'm going to go with who I believe is going to be the highest scorer on this slate, pitching-wise. And he is tied on the board here on PrizePicks with Nola. But I'm going with Logan Gilbert. It's a big number, 38.5. But I just think this is just cookie cutter game. If you told me, what team and where, I'd say let him pitch against Oakland in Seattle. So and this looks like a 45 type plus game for me for him. I've got him at 43.5. Again, when I get to those 5 over projections of what it is on PrizePicks, it becomes a real strong play for me.
Yeah. So that's 5 picks, Coach. If anyone still has their free play left from the NBA Finals Challenge, they could use that today.
Yeah, I haven't seen
5K, hopefully.
I know. I'm hoping people can hit that. It's hard when you have that free shot.
Yeah,
I want to definitely go after it.
I hit 3. I hit 2 out of 5 on mine. So rough day. I used it on Sunday. I should have waited. So
yeah. Well, hey, you got to take your shot at some point. You can't win if you don't play.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. I think that's everything for today. 7-game main slate or 5-game main slate, depending on which one you're playing. Fun day. We've got PGA golf going on now. We have Live Golf this afternoon. Then we're going to have all kinds of action today. We'll have both baseball slates for you. We're also going to be putting up a Live Golf second round since they do it round by round. That'll be up for DraftKings tonight on our board. And then check out, man, I'll be watching that. NBA free agency is going to get nuts this year. Mm-hmm. People going all over the place, and we're going to be preparing for that as well. So really appreciate everybody listening in. Crash, it was good. We haven't seen you that much this week.
I know it feels like it's been longer than 2 days. It feels like it's been like a week since I've been on here.
But, I know it. Well, we've got the next couple of days where we'll be we decided we were going to do Friday and Saturday together this week, and we're going to do 2 brains are better than 1 FanDuel both days. Mm-hmm. So we're really pumping it up because it's going to be a fun 4th of July weekend here in Canada Day up in Toronto. So our Canadians, we have several Canadian members. So happy Canada Day to them as well.
Yeah.
All right. That is it, sir. Any final words?
No. I mean, like you said, we've got action all day in sports. You got early baseball, Wimbledon, golf, NBA free agency, Major League Baseball tonight. So busy day. It
is. Take the Hauser free square and then take all the hitters you need. So it's going to be fun.
It will be.
All right, man. Have a great one. Everybody out there, appreciate you spending your time with us on this Thursday. 1 day away till Friday. We're almost there. Yeah. Enjoy taking some stuff down. We're going for back-to-back sweeps to hit on DraftKings FanDuel. Actually, we'll make it a 4. We wanted a 4-bagger sweep. FanDuel, DraftKings, Yahoo, and PrizePicks.
Yeah.
Try to knock them all out of the park today. All right. Appreciate it. Hopefully we have Dirk back either tomorrow or Saturday, but we'll give him a few rest days here to get ready for free agency. So enjoyed it. Have a good one. Let's take him down. We'll be back again tomorrow to crush it in DFS and PrizePicks MLB.